Good afternoon, and welcome to
Black to School.
where we talk about all things education, lifestyles, and whatever else tends to pop up in our minds.
From a black perspective, of course.
Of course, we would have it no other way. I am your host, Miss Lavon,
And I am your host, Lainey Lane.
and together today we're doing our inaugural run at this. Got some things on our minds that we really want to share and kind of further explore. So we're going to just jump right into it.
Yeah, so for me, sort of the elephant in the room is after 10 years as an educator, deciding that I want to step away and not knowing what I want to step into. Love being an educator, but anybody working in public education, especially, you love it. You've got a passion for it. You got a passion for your kids, but it's everything else, all the bureaucracy and everything else that can make it a little daunting, a little overwhelming. So I made a decision recently that I want to step out, and again, stepping into the unknown, which is scary. Any teachers out there who have transitioned from teaching to some other career, we'd like to hear from you. What careers did you transition to? How did you do it? Did you have something lined up already? If so, what kind of careers do you think are really open and ready to receive teachers? Okay.
So thanks for sharing that. It was a really great introduction, Lainey Lane. Um, Going with that same topic, I want to explore a little bit how I would say, to some extent, you have the freedom to be able to do that, and what that might look like if some of the others of us have considered it, because we have similar experiences and often air our grievances and frustrations and obviously some celebrations, but like the true demands of this job, and especially ours, that make it so much more unique than most situations. And then what that looks like in terms of, again, someone who wants to explore those options but has responsibilities. So how do you continue? How do you find the energy and the effort to continue to press through, despite all of the minutia and bureaucracy?
That's a great question. So, on any given day when you're feeling like that, like, oh Lord, I got to dig down deep, what are your go-tos to kind of keep you pushing forward?
So I think a great thing for me has been my health journey. So I've really been looking into how I can change some of those eating habits that have been formed as, a part of our community, and changing a lot of the mindset that I have and my family has about how we approach food and what's actually good and good versus what's good for us, and how to make both of those things be true at the same time. But I think more than that, really digging into more physical activity has been a game changer for me. I use some of my planning time, spare time, I guess I should say, to get out and get into the environment, get that fresh air, get the endorphins going. And I think that probably that above anything else. I'd love to say spirituality. That's the right answer.
Hello.
For sure, that's up there. But I think in addition to that, I would say was definitely just kind of giving myself something else to look forward to and to challenge myself with.
Mm. You know, one of the probably one of the issues teachers probably face throughout the country is being able to use your planning time for. I mean, I know it may be perceived as, personal ventures or so on and so forth. But if you are using your planning time for your health, I tell you what. Now, this may sound like a stretch, but stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't hear it in my voice, I'm just getting over being sick. Had a sinus infection with a nice twist of bronchitis. And one of the issues, which I've been suffering from for years, is low vitamin D. Now, yes, we know there are vitamin D supplements, but we also know the best and most holistic and healthy ways to get your vitamins and minerals and so forth is naturally. And one of the natural ways to boost vitamin D production is being in the sun. Now, we as teachers, we get there early. I know we have to be at our school at 7:03, and actually, you have to be there at 7. Class starts at 7:03. So if you're there at 7, you are ripping and running like the Tasmanian devil to be ready
for sure
for your first period.
They are definitely released on time.
Sure, or early. There's been a couple times I'm like, that clock says 7:02.
Yeah, for sure.
And so we get here before the sun comes up, and then this time of year,
oftentimes we
leave after it's dark out. And I'm not saying that's just exclusive to teachers or educators, but that is definitely a part of our job. So what happens? My vitamin D takes a hit during these times. But I was out sick. I missed 3 days. I almost missed a whole week, really. So I say that to say, well, what if I did appropriate time during the day to make sure I go out and get sun?
Our administrators do.
Hello. And other staff members as well.
Other staff members do.
Where the rest of us, as teachers, are feeling like balls and chains in our classrooms. So that wellness, if you're taking care of yourself as a teacher, you are taking care of your role as the teacher. If you're taking care of yourself.
I think it's important to highlight that, right? So imagine if, just like you indicated, we are here at 7. And we try to be here as close to 7 and not before as possible, simply because we do spend so much time in this race. And if you are starting the day at 7, very likely that you don't have time to do anything for yourself in the morning, unless it's maybe a prayer or meditation. It's kind of early to be out doing anything physical, and as you said, there's no sun.
Right.
And then if you're leaving after 6, and if you have any kind of commitments, any kind of family, then you really can't make wellness an option at that time either. It starts to impact getting prepared for the next day, or just getting in a decent meal. You run into grabbing something on your way home, which is going to be a less healthy option. So I think that being mindful and smart about the use of your time, it just makes sense. I make the sacrifice during my planning time to do it, knowing that on the other side I'm gonna still have. That means I'm gonna have to work later or work at home, which I often do. But I think it's worth it because if for no other reason, it gives me a designated time every single day. And it also, I know that I have it done, so I'm not avoiding it or too tired to do it. And I feel like it's made a tremendous difference, just in my energy levels and all the things. So, there's a lot of, at least for a while, there was a lot of touting about self-care, but it's always self-care on your time, in your way. We don't get a lot of time otherwise. Do your self-care on your weekends. You don't get to call in and say, I want a mental wellness day. There are none of those things. We're going to take a quick pause here, and we'll come right back with more on the other side. And we're back.
Yes. So I apologize for that, because like I said a moment ago, that I was sick earlier this week. No longer contagious.
Hey,
Miss Lavon. So
okay.
So I had to step away for a moment. But this actually leads into our greater conversation, talking about well-care, self-care as an educator, and what that looks like, and, in any variation, any manifestation. So if it is about modifying your day, making sure that you are building in time in the day to get some sun, some fresh air, to build your vitamin D. If that even means that, hey, right now, I need to step away, even if I come back to it, I need to step away temporarily. What does self-care look like as an educator and as a Black educator? Because let's just be real, our challenges as Black educators, they're not the same as, any and every other educator of every other demographic,
You're so right. I think that, and even as you mentioned, you highlight or emphasize the point about being a black educator and taking care of ourselves. We can go through the statistics, and probably as we evolve, we'll have more um, of that. Maybe look at studies and share more of the data and analysis. But I can say just anecdotally, one of my whys, even in terms of um, doing fitness during the day, is really to set an example for some of our students who um, may or may not have those examples of someone who is um, actually getting into fitness and making those commitments. I have a student, interestingly, who gave me a challenge. Now, I have never done this, but I think that I'm willing to try. Coming up on our mid-year assessments, and she challenged me to, if she scores a level 5 on her mid-year assessment, that I would have to run 3 miles. And I'll tell you what, again, I've never done it. I've done 2.2 is my kind of go-to spot. But I think that I would try to churn it out just to prove a point, and to set a goal and achieve it. Is what I would be wanting to do. That would be a purpose for me. So it's not just about me. I think it's about setting an example, and it's not easy. I think when I originally started, I felt like there was a stigma. I don't know if there was, but it really felt like people were like, "What the heck?" And with the help of a wellness coach, I've really been able to just press through that, and remain diligent. And I hope that that continues. I would say that finding what works, for you. Again, whether, as Laney Lane mentioned, whether that is stepping away completely, and finding a different path, finding something that you find satisfaction in, and that doesn't is not as demanding. And I don't want to speak for you, because I don't want to overspeak, or misspeak, I guess I should say. I won't want to misspeak and make it seem like, oh my gosh, this job was just too much for you at this time, because it's not that. There's probably more to it than you may want to share at this time, and I know that. But I think what I wanted to say, beyond that, is not everybody has the opportunity to go outside, especially at this time of year. So what are some other things that you could be doing to have some self-care throughout the day, and maybe even engage in some physical activity if going outside is not an option for you at this time of the year?
That's an excellent question. I'm going to actually give two very different answers.
Okay.
Well, one answer, as a black educator, in people who, black folks who work in education, I know, at least the majority of you, if not all of you, are aware of this. But other folks, maybe not so much. Or if you're black and you work in another field, or if you're an educator, you just aren't black. But black folks who work in education quite often are expected to fulfill certain unwritten roles or duties on any given campus.
Yes.
Especially when it comes down to like behavior management and things like of that nature. Even in a classroom, let's say you have a co-teaching model, right? And you have one black teacher, and I'm just gonna say it, one white teacher, let's just say. I'm gonna be honest with you. The black teacher, 9 times out of 10, or 99 times out of 100 even, is expected to keep behaviors in check.
Yes.
In addition to everything else that goes along being a teacher. So as far as self-care as a black educator, setting that boundary of saying, hey, look, of course, classroom management, monitoring behaviors, redirecting behaviors, and so on and so forth is a part of the job. I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are. So to set that boundary of like, let's say if you are in a co-teaching model, or if it's like, teacher and TA, whatever it is, to say, I'm not here just to be a security guard.
Right.
Right. And I've talked to black educators who, have gotten really frustrated with that notion of like, oh, well, you're black. Aren't you good with, whooping people and yelling at people and getting people checked. Aren't people afraid of you? And this not, can't you get these kids to behave?
Mm-hmm.
And setting that boundary of like, that's not why I'm here.
Correct.
Okay, so I do think that's an important element for self-care as a Black educator. Now, just as a person, all of you out there, you probably are familiar with the comedian Eddie B, who I think is hilarious, a former teacher. I think he taught in Georgia. I got to see him perform live back in 2024, and I remember he had this one joke. He said, if there's a teacher without a belly, he doesn't trust him.
Oh, wow.
He does not trust a teacher without a belly. Because he was
Wow.
like, why aren't you as stressed out as the rest of us?
Yes.
Why aren't your cortisol levels through the roof like the rest of us? What is it that you are doing or not doing that the rest of us are doing that you got this flat stomach?
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, he don't trust no teacher with no flat stomach.
I used to think about that one really, really tall, really, really fit and district administrator. I'm like, how is it that even you just stay the same? You don't ever you know
what I'm saying? I'm like, you are either have the calming zen-like presence of Yoda, or you know that you're not stressing about things as much as other folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I say that too, as far as physical activity, and I haven't really done it so far this school year, but I've done it in the past. Things have changed at the school we're at right now, so I don't necessarily feel as comfortable taking certain liberties. And when I say taking liberties, I don't mean doing anything crazy per se, but just, thinking outside of the box. I don't feel as comfortable as I used to. But in the past, I used to have Let's Dance competitions. I'd pull up them Let's Dance videos. I'd have the kids pick a couple of different songs.
Yeah.
And we'd have, we'd move the desk and we have Let's Dance competitions.
That's awesome.
I also used to have Salsa Fridays. I like to salsa dance.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. And we would move the desk if they earned it, and we would have a little salsa class, and they would get to practice and so on and so forth. And it amazed me year after year how many students actually were engaged. Some of the ones that I thought would be like, nah, yo. So it would be some of the ones that really get up there and really try it. And it was a way for all of us to get up and be
building
physical.
A community also, and them seeing each other in a different light. Taking risks. Because they're at this age, they're so big on looking foolish.
Right.
And so, but doing something that they're not familiar with, stepping out of the comfort zone, which is also a challenge. Fear of the unknown for our students. So I love that. And I'm sure there were tremendous benefits for you and for them through that process. And it's really unfortunate that so often we get stagnated. Our ideas, we don't even want to, at this point especially, share our ideas because we already know how they're, unfortunately from experience, how that ends. Mm-hmm. So I didn't mean to stop you, but I just kind of was processing that as I was listening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And see, you know what you just said, it just really triggered something in my brain as well. I think that's part of, yes, there are personal things going on in my life that I know that I need to really appropriate some time and energy to, for sure. Some family matters. But I think it's that feeling so stagnant, feeling that, any ideas, any ingenuity, anything, is not really welcomed right now.
Right.
That right there, it's kind of like, it's a little bit soul crushing. And that's a part of the self-care too, of, wanting to feel like your ideas, your thoughts, your creativity, your creative energy has an outlet.
Sure.
Sure. There's this movement, I feel like, for teachers to be robotic. Here's your script.
Yes.
All your kids are doing the exact same thing all the time.
And they should all get the same outcomes.
Right. And this is the only way that they're going to get those outcomes. And these are the only outcomes, worth achieving.
Yes.
Yes. So some of that the stifling the creativity for me is a part of the reason why I'm like, I need to step away.
Would you be willing to, or are you able to share one of your ideas that you felt like was really good and could impact the school, and then what that was like for you, or do you think that's not?
I'm willing. I'm open to sharing it, but honestly, at the moment, I can't even think of I'll come back. I'll circle
Let's
back.
go back to it. Yeah, just think about it. And if
Oh, sorry. No, I'm sorry.
no.
There's something else I wanted to circle back with for
Go
you
ahead.
too, though.
Okay.
I'm gonna circle back to that. If I don't forget. But the whole 3 mile. If this student is really, really smart.
Yes.
So there's a good chance your
Yes.
behind's gonna be out there running some 3
Yes,
miles.
there is.
Would you make it an event where this student gets to track you, as opposed to you just show up one day and ta-da!
I did it.
You weren't there, but I did it.
I did it.
Scout's honor.
So I think, I asked, would you want to actually see me do it? Or would you take my word for it? So the students said they would take my word for it. I think that, I have this phenomenal brother who always is doing something amazing for me. And so one of the things that he's recently blessed me with is the Meta glasses. And so I wonder if I could use those to just go film my entire journey and then share it with her that way. Because I can't think of really any other way to hold myself accountable. Because I don't think that, unless I did it on the weekend and I could arrange it with, her family after hours. But anytime that she would be here during the school day, I don't think that I haven't yet thought of a way that I could have her experience it with me.
You know what, though? All right, now circling back to a good idea. I had a good idea right
there
on the
you
spot.
go.
Well, I think it's a good idea. You might be like, girl, you put that idea right back where you found it. Because we do have the luxury of working at a small school. And wouldn't it be cool to make it? Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. Wouldn't it be cool to make it like a school-wide event?
Oh, yeah.
Let's she scores a 5, and it'd be because this is going to be right at the end of the semester. This would be so cool to make it a semester. If we had the kids go out and cheer you on, and we could have you right along here. You know what I'm saying? And you got to watch. So you could do you keep track of your mileage, and you could run back and forth, and we just make an event, cheer you on. We have music out there. We could have treats for the kids. We could make it an end of the semester event. Walkers.
It's okay.
Not walkers, runners.
Yeah, there you go.
Runners victory. All right.
Yeah, I love that. I actually love the idea of making it, again, because the idea is to inspire students and staff, to be honest, because we are, if we look writ large at the majority of our colleagues across the district, honestly, we are some of the least fit folks probably in the community. And again, for reasons that, you've already touched on, that's the case. So if we can inspire another generation to start to do things differently, so I'm happy to do that. I think it would feel, I'm open to a challenge. And that's how I've gotten myself to the point of I was happy with 1 mile. So, and in my, years prior, I was very content with 2 miles. So, pushing myself to that next goal is only going to make it better for me. So from that standpoint, I received the challenge. I do feel like I would feel a little ridiculous out there being the only one. Even if someone wanted to volunteer to walk, 2 miles of it or whatever, or just a mile, I think that would be fun. Because after a while, even considering our demographic especially, I think that they would kind of be like, okay, we've done the horn, we've cheered, and she's way down there. What kind of, what will we do in the meantime?
Well, we're making it an activity out there.
Yeah.
So they'd have basketball. We could have maybe pizza. We'd maybe have some music. We'd make it a festive. Not that they're just standing at the gate watching you. Is that her?
Yeah. I think she stopped. You guys, are you checking?
Next thing you'll be like, hurry up with Walker.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay, Yeah. So I love that, and I think it would definitely, and actually now you've challenged me to get started to train, because it is actually next week.
You get started started to train for next
So
week.
I really don't
Okay.
have time. And you talk about other engagements. My life is really so full, otherwise. And so I like to, when I'm here, I like to be present here. And when I'm home, I like to be present at home.
Right.
So I think marrying a little bit of the two in terms of, taking the time for fitness. And I try to do, 15 to 45 minutes, depending on what time I'm able to get out of the building and all that kind of stuff, what I have going on. So sometimes it's as short as 15 minutes because, one of the mantras that my coach has is just 15 minutes is better than nothing.
For sure.
So if that's all I can give, that's all I can give. And I'm okay with that. But I think for me with the challenge, I'll just bring it back to the challenge. There's so much that's going on. Like my weekend is packed. You know, family stuff. My grandmother, praise the Lord, is returning home from a rehab center. And she's going to be able to be there where she's comfortable. We had a nice family conversation, meeting about it last night. We're all on board together. So, just kind of coordinating with family members, that's a priority for me. Then, of course, the daughter has a big event. So Sunday is two shows for us. I'm thinking, when am I going to ever decorate for Christmas and finish?
For real.
So all those things that, are so important to me, that I tune into those things. And also that's why taking a little bit of time out of my school day makes sense to me, because by the same token, there are things that I can't finish here. And so I find myself working at home in the evenings, on the weekends. So it's just kind of sharing and finding a good balance between the two. But yes, I take you up on it. Don't know how I'm going to train and really be ready for it. But if we're gonna do it by probably towards the end of next week.
Yeah, well,
as a culminating
I'll
activity.
probably maybe the week after that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I didn't mean this week coming up. I mean,
okay.
because we don't want to do it before we actually go out on break, right? We want to do it right around that time when we're ushering them out.
Yes.
And celebrating the students who are matriculating back to their homes. So that'll be a fun thing to do. I think it's great. I don't know how, we're going to get the buy-in, but
that's the point. Like, that's the part of it too. Like, when you have great ideas, and I'll be the first to admit, I am great for a harebrained idea. But for as many harebrained ideas that I do have, I come up with some gems too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is phenomenal. I think, even inviting students, we don't know if we have a cross-country runner. You know what I mean? We don't know if we have someone who says, I want to try to run half a mile. You know what I mean? I want to just see how far I can go. So I think that, if we could build some of that into it.
Yes.
I definitely think. I was going to say,
I wouldn't do 3 miles.
But you can.
I'd give you 1.5 miles.
Yeah. So let's do it. Let's do it 100%. Like, I think we open it up. I think we do the proposal. No later than Tuesday, because testing is, I think, Wednesday or so.
Yeah. Actually, I think testing is Tuesday.
Okay, well then you want to have something.
Whatever the 9th is.
Well, let's talk. We'll talk about those details. We'll do that probably off the record, because we don't need to belabor the point or encumber you all with the details. But stay tuned to see how that goes. Yes. Challenge accepted. What is it? I've taken the gauntlet. No. Okay, maybe not. Okay, no, it doesn't work, but I tried. On that note, we probably should go ahead and wrap it up. What are your final thoughts?
Yeah, my
and how do you think today went? Did we meet our own expectations?
I think so.
Okay.
And I didn't expect anything less. Okay. I think we met our according my ideas of expectations. I think we met our expectations. We always have good chemistry, good rapport. We know how to build off and then circle back and so forth. I think things went well.
Okay.
How about you?
Same. I think it was a really good conversation. I love our energy. I welcome all of the feedback. once we get this up and to be able to have maybe a chat going. I look forward to exploring it. But yes, today is a great day one.
I agree.
Any
I'm
final
looking-
thoughts?
Final thoughts? Teacher, non-teacher, black, white, and in the middle. Take care of yourselves in whatever way that looks like.
I love that. And with that said, it's more than enough. I think that's it for us today. We'll come up with a really catchy sign off. But for now, be you, be your best.
All right.